So what surprised you about Musashi? Was it this darker side to him?
Yeah, and it's funny because I had the same feeling when I did episodes on Marcus Aurelius. And
Mm,
I don't think it's a coincidence, is that because they both emphasize heavy stoicism. And I like stoicism to a point. There's something about, that ability to be unaffected by outside reality, at least to some degree, and to keep a center and all of that. That's beautiful. The problem is that it ends up in some cases to be this very joy denying worldview. It's like Marcus Aurelius, like half of the time you're wondering, why don't you just shoot yourself? Because it's like everything you're saying is about duty, and pleasure is a distraction, and human relationships are a distraction, and this is a distraction. And one of his lines was like, sex is nothing but an exchange of mucus and sweat. And you're like, wow, I wonder why your wife cheated on you. Like, such a romantic. It's like, he has a worldview that's so, I mean, really the only thing he seems to care about is duty. And I'm like, I don't know, I don't care that much about it. I'm like, I want to enjoy life. If you're not enjoying life, what the hell is the point? And he takes stoicism to a place where I don't find it healthy anymore.
mm,
Um, Musashi, to some degree, I get the same feeling, where it's so cut off from any, like, he basically, I forget exactly how he phrased it, but in not so many words, he considered love a silly human emotion, which, it's a distraction. I'm like, Jesus, man, you're preaching a loveless life as this ideal. Ugh, yike, there's something there that does not seem the most mentally well adjusted thing in the world. And both of those guys, again, they both have great quotes, they both have points that they bring up that are very valuable, and I'm not denying that. There's a reason why people like Marcus Aurelius, why people like Musashi. There's definitely good stuff, but I feel that they take that good stuff to such an extreme that, for me, loses all humanity.
mm. So that dark side of Marcus Aurelius was just putting duty above everything and
Yeah,
being so anti enjoyment of life. And um,
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
it's interesting, and I'm trying to piece through that. And that what I'm coming back to is this quote from um, Jordan Peterson, and I don't know the exact quote, but it's something along the lines of um, happiness is so fleeting that you need somewhere firmer to plant your flag. And it sounds like Marcus Aurelius planted his flag towards duty.
Yeah.
And I would be curious for you, like, where do you think is a firmer, better place to plant our flag if this pleasure and happiness is too fleeting and too meaningless in a way to plant your flag there? Where do you think a good place would be to?
I mean, the pleasure, happiness being fleeting, I think it depends how you define it. Because, of course, the highs that are super high are by definition not every other moment. They are highs, they are highlights of the day. If you're gonna wait to feel good about things only when you feel the high, well, good luck, because you're gonna have it once, twice, 3 times a week, whatever many times, but then you're gonna have every other moment in between the highs where you feel like, okay, now what? This sucks. Where's my high? You cannot be, if that's your idea, and it sounds like that may be Jordan Peterson, but if that's the idea of happiness, I think there's a problem, because that's unsustainable. It's
Mhm.
like, you cannot think that just the super high moment is a source of happiness, because they are rare. Even if they are once a day, they are still rare, because there's 23 more hours in the day, kind of thing. So to me, there's something about enjoy the highs when they come. They're awesome. They feel great. But also finding a baseline that's more, is not about how, explosion and color and fun. And it's more about a baseline of contentment with the way things are, of just satisfaction with ordinary living.
Mhm.
There's a great Zen thing that's about the wondrous miracle that is to chop wood and draw water from the well, which, of course, at the time when they were written, they were the most ordinary activity that everybody would do every day. You know, you need wood to stay warm, you draw water from the well. So he's talking about the most basic day-to-day activity. And the whole point to him was like finding the miracle in that, finding the beauty in every second, not wait for the moment that blows your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it comes from gratitude, and it's a way of like looking at life, right? It's like I can be thinking about, I don't have this, I want this done, I can get this, and you know, there's always stuff that's not working that I would want it to be better. But if I'm waiting for my happiness to come when I have all those things, it never will. Because even when I achieve those things, there will be other things that I want that I don't have, and so on. And so keeping my mind in two places at once. On one level, the direction where I want to go. I want certain things to happen, so I'm going to work to make them happen. And on the other hand, I'm sitting here looking around exactly as things are right now and find a way to enjoy like that feeling of like nothing needs to change. Everything is
Mm-hmm.
perfect as it is. And you're like, no, it's not. I want this thing. And it's like both are true at the same time. You know,
Yep.
having that feeling of like this as it is right now with all its problem and all that, I need to find a way to be grateful for it. And at the same time, looking for the highlight, looking to bring things to a higher place and so on. Hand in hand, you know. Or if you are
Mm-hmm.
constantly looking for the next thing, even when you get it, you'll get the Jordan Peterson thing. It's fleeting, it lasts an hour, you pat yourself on the back, you're ecstatic, and now you're back to ground zero.
Mm-hmm.
You need that other side to it, the miracle of everyday moment kind of feeling, that appreciation for the most mundane aspects of life. And I think it's a muscle. I think you cultivate it by paying attention to things in a certain way, by reminding you of certain things that are, I go into a shower and there's this miraculous warm nice water enveloping. I have my own private waterfall in my bathroom. How cool is that? You know, it's
Yep.
like it's, you know, paying attention to when you eat. I can just shove a bunch of food down my mouth, which by the way I do. I tend to eat like a wolf in like about seconds. But also there's something to be said for really tasting that food. Not like I'm eating while I'm looking at email, while I'm talking to somebody, while I'm doing is like I'm going through the motion. I'm not deriving any pleasure from it.
Mm-hmm.
Really have a moment where, man, this tastes so good. You know, really dive deep into that sensation. And then the same activity that was just ordinary, whatever, now becomes a source of pleasure, even happiness, if you define happiness in a slightly different way.
Yeah, it's that striving for heaven, but yeah, at the same time, just enjoying the day.
Absolutely.